In our last video, we discovered that our boot flaps were intersecting our legs in the squat position, and we discovered that we should probably improve our collision objects by including our boots inside of our geometry erode trick. We have to understand that updates are a normal part of production, and sometimes you have to revisit these things multiple times before you can get the best possible performance. In this case, we're going to remove the compartments in the boots, create a solid object. Then we're going to merge those boots with the body into a single mesh using volumes. And then we're going to recache our collision object and resimulate our boot flaps, our pants, and our undershirt and see the results. First, I'd like to illustrate our current problem. Right now, our boots, if you look inside these boots, they actually have compartments. There's two watertight pieces of geometry and then the neck of the boots that we had to do a polyfill on. So, if we were to use this object directly in our mesh erode situation here and looked at the results here, let's go ahead and take a look at those, see what we get. You see the point where the body and the boots start to meet, they start to erode. So if we had to increase the value slightly here, you start to see it displays an area where a piece of cloth can get stuck in there, and that causes the problem. So that's our current issue. What we want to do, you can see that these are two watertight pieces of geometry and then a non-watertight. And if we used an exploded view node, we can actually see this a lot clearer here. So you can see there's two watertight pieces here, the heel and the shoe, and the neck of the boot here. All right, let's create a group node here, and we'll call it boot neck. And this will be used just to isolate the geometry that's in the boot neck portion, the open hold version here. So we'll just grab all those faces. Okay, then we'll grab the polyfill node, alt drag it over, and close up that geometry. So if you see here, we got three pieces of closed geometry. Now we're going to drop a VDB from polygons node, and we're going to adjust the voxel size from 0.1 to 0.01 to get greater resolution. And then we'll drop a convert VDB node down, and we'll set that to polygons to see the resulting polygon. And if you look on the inside, you'll see here that it's hollow on the inside, and that's what we're looking for. Now we'll just add the out node. Now that we have single-sided boots here, we want to be able to smooth them, but we can't, because if you look at this, we don't have any attributes now. We've lost all of our paint attributes, so we have to transfer our attributes from our original mesh right before we entered the subcuts out into right after the subcuts. So let's go ahead and do that with an attribute transfer, AT_trans. An attribute transfer. So we'll just plop that in right here, and then we will get that from the node right above. I'll just click and alt and drag that out a little bit here so it doesn't look so messy. Okay, cool. So now what we want to transfer are all points and primitive groups. So we'll just put a star here and a star here. And now if you look at that, we actually have a no collide attribute that we've passed on. And let's see what else. And then we have like a boot smooth attribute that we want to use. And so now we can actually look at this, and I think the boot smooth will actually work now. But it's not smoothing the area we want, so we want to paint that. So it's smoothing the bottom. We don't really need that anymore because this is going to give us a nice kind of smooth bottom anyway. So what we want to do is we do want to smooth this little ridge up here, because this ridge is causing problems by catching on the boot flaps, etc. So what we want to do is change the paint area. So let's go up to our attribute, we'll paint there. And instead of no collide, we'll go to boot smooth, and we'll just erase everything. So right click, erase. We do want you to smooth up here at the ridge though. Cool. So now if we go down here and look at our attributes and see if our smooth is working, let's just turn it off and on and see if it's working. It's working a little bit. Let's go ahead and amp that up quite a bit. 100. Let's just see what 100 looks like. Okay, we can come back and smooth that later if it's causing problems. Let's just clean this up a little bit here. Okay, so what's next? First of all, let's disconnect this. We don't need to merge that in right now. Now we want to merge these boots with the actual collision body. The next thing we want to do is create a whole separate area here where we're going to be working. And I am going to merge the rest state body, and then the rest state boots are going to go there. So these are our two pieces of geometry that we want to merge with a volume. And we want to drive those pieces of geometry with the actual original geometry of the boots and the body. So we're going to create a separate stack over here. On the left side we'll have our rest state, and on the right side we'll have our driving geometry. So let's put a time shift, and we'll set that to RF start as always. Right, and then we'll drop down a point deform node, and we'll hook everything up. If we looked at this, this technically should move our geometry, but it's not what we want yet. So yeah, so it's moving our geometry. We got a little shearing in the inside of the legs here. So now we have to work on merging these two pieces of geometry together, these two right here. And the way we're going to do that is by using a volume again. VDB from polygons. And I did some experimentation, so the size I like is 0.008. You don't want to go too low on this because if you do, it gets really slow. And then we do a convert VDB. Tabs convert VDB. And this is a polygons node. So if we look at this, this has got some decent resolution. The fingers are kind of merging together like, webbed fingers for an amphibian. I think that's okay for now. One thing we have to do though here is we're once again faced with the issue that if we looked at the geometry spreadsheet, we don't have any of our point attributes. We painted all these great things like hands and feet, etc. What we want to do is also do an attribute transfer here. So we're just going to do attribute transfer. And we want to transfer those attributes directly from the merge node up here. Not only do we want to transfer all our attributes, but we've also created some groups. So we're going to also do a group transfer. This way we get all of the groups that we worked hard to set up. My mouse is giving me some issues. So that should give us that, and we'll just alt drag that out too. Whoops. Okay, so we have all of our groups here now. We have our body group, which has a 1 and a 0 so that our peak will work. We have heads, hands, all of our points and our primitive attributes are there. One thing I did notice just though now is that the collision group names that are in here are just muddy and clean, and I've decided that I want to go back and change that. They're not descriptive. So I go all the way back here to our nodes here, and instead of muddy, it's going to be boots muddy. Boots muddy, so it's more descriptive, and boots clean. Okay, and these should transfer 100% all the way over here. The way you do this is with attribute transfer. When you do an attribute transfer into the conditions, make sure you only do a max sample count of 1, so it gets basically the nearest point on the other mesh. So the original mesh that's creating the volume, it'll get it the nearest point on there if you do a max sample of 1. If you start increasing this, it blurs the values and you don't want that. So let's just go ahead and go with that. Okay, great. So let's see what we got here. We have this point deform. The point deform is causing some issues here in the legs. So when I start to see the legs move, I can start to see that close points are kind of pulling on each other. So on the point deform, instead of a radius of 0.1, I'll do 0.01 smaller radius, and that should get everything closer to. So now we have this mesh running. Let's go ahead and see what we have on the other stack here that we want to use now. So we'll just basically pull in this stack at this point. We were putting a peak node in here at some point on the old body right after that. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, what I want to do is maybe just move this whole stack down here and kind of pipe it in now. So instead, the sword's coming in here and the body's coming in here. This is our new body. Shoomp. So now I will pull this in here as our new output. So this is our new body output. Okay, let's just see what this looks like now. So we've got our normals, we got our VDB. Coming in this side is the sword, coming in is this the body. So let's see what the point wrangle looks like. Changes it. Oh, that looks horrible. Yipes. All right, let's go down to a squat position and see what this looks like. Okay, let's play with some of these values here. I guess I left it at 0.9 or something while I was testing or doing a video. So anyway, let's just go back to 2.5. I think that's where it was. And you can see the boots are not doing anything, and that's because we have to add that to this group here. So we'll say at boots is greater than 0.5, and you can see that adds the boots into the equation. So now let's just play with some of these values here to see what we get. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll check the group expand. Now that we have a slightly higher resolution, we might want to go with a level 3 expansion. There we go. And let's see if we promote that and then smooth that. And that smoothing doesn't look too bad. Let's see what a little higher amount will do. Not too bad. Okay, let's play with this next value here. Let's just see if See, roads a little too much or a little too good. Okay, that actually looks okay. It might be too erosive. There's plenty of room in there right now. That's definitely, but we have baggy pants and we have boots here. So this little area right here, actually there's plenty of room for that. Let's see, there's plenty of room too here for 3 layers of cloth. There's going to be shirt, cloak, and top shirt or undershirt. So let's see, this actually looks pretty good. I think that might be a little excessive on this value here. So let's go back to maybe just 0.3. There we go. Let's just stick with that for now. I want to have success. We can always dial it back in if we don't have success. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cache this setup. I've already created a version 2 for this because I wanted to test everything before I taught it. So I do have a version 2. What we'll do is we'll create a version 3 because it will be different. Okay, and we'll save this file. And I'm going to say this is file 9. File save as. And let's save it to disk in the background. Collision body has been cached. Let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm loading it from disk, version 3. Just want to scrub the timeline here. Not bad. And let's check out the squat. So, not bad. Plenty of room here. Looks pretty decent. Okay, one thing I did do was I disconnected the boot collision. Instead of just tacking on and merging it, I decided to get rid of it because we've already blended in over here. So we're just disconnecting it here. So this merge node is kind of useless, but who knows what we're going to put in here? Maybe hats or something at some point. Hint, hint. So anyway, we're going to leave that for now. We'll leave the merge node. So for each one of these Vellum IO nodes, I'm going to increment the version and I'm going to sim each one against this new collision body and check the results when we're done. Alright, our shirt looks like it passed. Our pants look like the pants have passed as well. Let's take a look what it looks like in squat mode. Not bad. Pants look okay. The boot flap simulation has some less than desirable results. The pin to target constraint is conflicting with the collision object because it's pinned to the actual limbic and not the new collision object. So I think we're going to try this method where we do a small ring around the outside here or the underside of verts that are attached constraint to the actual collision object. That way it'll bend with the collision object. Give that a shot in the next video.